What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight for another lake breakdown overview. This time we're going out to Georgia and we're going to take a look at Bartlett's Ferry Lake. Sorry if I said that wrong. Also known as Lake Harding out in Georgia. So a couple different names this one has. I went out to the fishing page, or tried to find a fishing page. That's the best one I could find to give me a little bit of an overview of the lake. We can read through it really quick and then we'll switch over and we're going to start talking about this breakdown. So the Georgia Power Company operates Bartlett's Ferry, a 5,850 acre reservoir, also known as Lake Harding, on the Chattahoochee River, along the Georgia and Alabama border just above Goat Rock Lake. The lake offers many boat docks and piers that provide good structure for concentrating for fish, and anglers will also find 2 available boat ramps on the Georgia side, one at Idle Hour Park and one at Blanton Creek Park. There's also some other ramps on the Alabama side, and we can talk about those when we get over to the breakdown. There's some contact information out here. There's some state records for Georgia, not specifically for this lake, but if we scroll down a little bit further, you will see that they do have some fish attractor maps that are available for you out there, so you can get those if you want them. Obviously, if you're going with Simplistic Fishing, we take those and import all this information in. You also have, as far as species that are out there, largemouth bass, spotted bass, hybrid bass, striped bass, catfish, crappie, and then it has other species as well, which we're not really too worried about that. But here, just a couple more little things on the website that kind of tell you a little bit about targeting largemouth bass. I won't read through all this stuff for you. I will say it said that most of your bass are going to be about 1 to 2 pounds for the largemouth bass, and some might be over 16, but for the most part, most are going to be in the 12 to 15 inch range. It also said in there that the spots and the largemouth, when they did the electrocuting or the shocking or whatever you call it, when they did that, it was actually about 1-to-1 ratio. So the spots and the largemouth are about 1-to-1 in this lake, which is awesome. Spots are fun to catch, but largemouth obviously can get a lot bigger. And then here you got some techniques and some different targets and stuff to talk about. So now that we have the general understanding of what this lake is, let's go out and let's take a look at it on the Google Earth side and see what this breakdown has to offer. Well, really quick, before we jump into the Google Earth side, let's take a look real quick at simplisticfishing.com. I just want to let you guys know what's out here. All of the Alabama lakes that we have are out on the website. You can see them all here: Logan Martin, Pickwick, Neely Henry, Wheeler Lake, Wilson Lake, Weiss. Got a bunch of them out there for Alabama. And then on the Georgia side, we've also got Altoona, Bear Creek, Blackshear, Carter's, Clarks Hill, Crossroads, which I got to fix that picture, Lake Eufaula, a whole bunch of them, right? Hard Labor Creek, Hickory Log Creek, Lake Harding, which we're going to talk about today, Lanier, Juliet. So you can see they just keep going and going and going. So lots of good stuff out there. Make sure to go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And don't forget, if you want to use the mobile app, we do have our mobile app live now. It is up and humming. So go check that on the App Store or Google Play. All right, let's get back to the breakdown. All right, let's take a look at Lake Harding, or Bartlett's Ferry's Lake, or reservoir, however you want to say it. Multiple names, but let's take a look at this thing from the Google Earth standpoint. So over here on the left-hand side, you can see how we have this lake broken down. We've got attractors, so we'll start with that. I'll kind of show you guys where these are. Now, one thing I do want to note here is if you look at the top, I do have my date adjusted back to 2023 because I feel like it gives us the best image, at least for doing this video. In fact, I had to go back sometimes all the way back to, I think, 2014 to find some stuff, and then 2025 to find the vegetation. So I was all over the place on this breakdown. But let's start off first by just talking about these fish attractors. So if we come over here to Lee County Road 279, there's some really good fish attractors up here around this bridge. Really like how these are situated, especially considering you've got a nice little river or a creek that's coming back here, right? You're gonna have that creek channel that's gonna come through there. In fact, let's click that and you can see where the creek channel is, and it's coming right through that area. So that has gotta be a great place to go look. I would definitely go look in that place for sure. And then moving over here, we've got another one off of this bridge. I think this is what, 378? I can't remember, 379. There's a little fish attractor right out here outside the fishing pier. And then if you move a little bit further back in here, the Long Ridge boat ramp, there are a bunch of attractors out here really close to that ramp as well. So really good area to go take a look at. And then let's move over here. We've got a few more. There's one off this point. There's a couple down here. There's 3 or 4 off the edge of this island. Actually more than 3 or 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 right there off the edge of that island. So a bunch. And then moving down here, Let's not forget about these down here. They did a great job with these attractors. All these attractors down here by the Po' Boy landing boat ramp, those look really good. You've also got a few out here by those islands. And then I don't know if there's any back in here, but there were some way back up in here. Another big group of them all the way back up in here in this cove. So definitely plenty of opportunities for the fish attractors. I think we talked about these, right? I told you guys about those outside that island. Maybe I didn't. If I didn't, they're there. We talked about those, and then we got the other two up there. I don't think there's any more any further north. But definitely take a look at those fish attractors. They can be great, great places to find fish. I know this is more about bass fishing, but man, those fish attractors, they will attract all kinds of different fish, and that's what really brings the bass there as well. So do not write off the fish attractors. Next up, let's take a look at the channels, ditches, and drains. There's not too many on this lake being more of just a river channel for the most part. Was a little bit tough because it didn't fluctuate as much as I wanted it to, but I was able to find some of these channels. So you can see here, we marked the channels with tracks. So if we're able to see the channel, we actually put the tracks in there. And then when you put this into your graph, you import the Simplistic Fishing card, you'll see all these tracks there. So you can see we got some tracks back here where the little creek channel comes in, nice little river coming in through here we talked about earlier. A couple more tracks in there. Nothing too crazy, and a couple ditches here and there, but again, nothing too crazy. From the cover and structure standpoint, not too much, that we were able to find from satellite imagery. We found a lot of laydowns. So you can see a lot of different areas where we had laydowns, especially around this island. This island had several different laydowns that were out there, so you could definitely go check out that island. And then you can kind of see throughout the lake just a couple different, different areas where you've got a lot of laydowns, but nothing too crazy, right? The couple things that I would want to point out, I guess, here is there was some brush that was up here on the edge of this island. I don't know if we can see it right now or not, but you can see it. If I get the year right, you can see the top of it. So it looks like there's a shallow brush pile in there or something in that area. Of course, this image isn't going to give us to us because this is the lake at full pool. And then there was also some debris and stuff that are around. Look for the debris areas. A lot of that debris is around boat docks and stuff. So it could be brush piles as well, but it was definitely something that I was able to find in there. That looked suspicious, looked like something we needed to fish around. There was one more thing. There was an area that had some trees, and I really liked it, so I wanted to talk to you guys about that one. Now I got to go find it. Might have been back in here. Nope, those are the attractors we talked about. Oh, here it is right here. So come over here. We get off of this, this highway here, 379, come around that point. There's a nice little point that comes out right here that has a nice little groupings of trees. So I really kind of like that too. That would definitely spark my interest to see what's there. But again, there's some of that debris over there, right, by those boat docks. So take a look at all of that, but you can see nothing too crazy that I need to point out for you. And since we're trying to keep these lake breakdowns at a minimal time, I'll keep moving. So next up, we have offshore. Now the offshore stuff on Google Earth isn't really going to make any sense at all. If I click it, it's going to change our date, take us up to 2025 when I did the breakdown. And then it's just going to show the offshore spots. If I zoom in here, you're going to see where I have offshore, but you're probably going to wonder why in the world is that offshore, right? Why are these two things offshore? Well, we're going to talk about that here in just a second. We're going to switch over using the Simplistic Fishing mobile app, and I'll pull up the contours and I'll show you guys why some of these spots are marked as offshore hotspots. And then we'll also pick out a couple of the favorite ones that we have out there from the breakdown. Then we have ramps and slabs, right? All the ramps and slabs throughout the lake. If they're ramps, those are going to be your major ones. If they're slabs, those are going to be your personal ones that you see, a lot of private slabs and things like that, but definitely scattered throughout the lake. And if you're wondering why do I mark these, because these are great places to fish. I'm telling you, fishing boat ramps is a pattern, and it can be really, really good. So definitely take advantage of all the different boat ramps there. And if you don't want to fish the boat ramps, at least you know where to go, if you needed some help or something, or you needed to put the boat to a ramp, you've got a lot of different options there. All right, then we've got rock. Now, a lot of the rock in this lake is really going to be your shallow rock, right? Your rock that's going to be up against seawalls and things like that. But every once in a while, you get around some areas that had some pretty good rock. There's some pretty good rock out here, actually, right out here off the edge of this. There's some, of course, you got the riprap down here by the dam, but then there's just a couple other rocky spots. Like you can see these rocky points, but most of it is going to be your shallower riprap, right? You got some shallow riprap here. You got a little rocky point there. You got a little shallow rock right here around these docks. So if I was able to pick up any rock around the docks or anything close to the bank line obviously marked all that, and then anything out in the open water, if I could see rock, I marked it too. But again, nothing too crazy here as far as the rocky stuff that really stuck out to me. I didn't find any like crazy underwater rock pile that just blew my mind, that I thought, man, you really got to fish there. But I would definitely take a look at this rock, especially if the fish are up shallow. Getting up there with the square bill and things like that and fishing around these rocky areas can be a really good and effective way to catch fish. All right, so that's the rock. And last but not least, we have the vegetation. So the vegetation was tricky because it obviously changes throughout the year. So the vegetation that I marked, this is what I was able to see based on the image from 2025. So you've got a couple different pockets of vegetation throughout the lake, and I'm sure this can change a lot. You've got a really good flat that's up here that has a nice little channel. In fact, we can mark the channels again. You can see the channels there, and behind that flat, you got some really good vegetation, all kinds of good stuff behind the creek channel there. You've also got vegetation out here, right off the edge of these points. Got some really good stuff in there. If you get back in these areas, you definitely have some good vegetation to go fish there, frogging, swim bait, all that stuff. A little bit here off the point. You can kind of see the only way that I was able to tell is just by the discoloration. So I could tell something's going on there, and so I marked it as vegetation. So again, not a ton of vegetation spots throughout the lake, but definitely enough to where if you said, hey, I'm just going to go fish vegetation today, we've got them all marked for you. You can easily identify them. The one vegetation spot that I really liked on this lake that really stood out to me was actually is an offshore spot, and I don't even think I marked it as vegetation, but it looks like there's some vegetation there. So I want to show that to you guys really quick. We're going to mark this, and I'm going to go find that island because I saw that island. I was like, man, that looks so good. It's right here. So right out here, I'm coming up from the dam, right? And it's just basically straight up from the dam. So you know you're going to have some good current out here and stuff like that, but there's something going on in this area. I don't know if this is rock or vegetation or what. I obviously just marked it as an offshore spot, but go take a look at this. I really like the way that sets up, and the river channel is probably pretty darn close to that area too, so I'm sure it's going to set up very nice and probably have some activity on it at some point in time. All right, guys, so that covers us for the entire Google Earth lake breakdown as far as what all we found out there on Google Earth. Now let's switch over using the Simplistic Fishing mobile app, and let's take a look at those offshore hotspots. Well, here we are out on the Simplistic Fishing mobile app, and like I said, we're going to take a look at these contours for Lake Harding. So let's scroll down. We're going to go down to the southeast region here. We're going to hit view, and then we're going to go pick out Lake Harding. So I'm scroll down here, pick out Harding. Then we're going to click on the waypoints button. And then once we do that, that's going to bring up all of the waypoints we just talked about, right? We just went through on Google Earth. It brings up everything. You can go over here. You can filter your waypoints if you want to, and just look at, maybe you just want to look at the attractors. You could just look at attractors. It's whatever it is that you want to filter with. But in this case, we're actually going to go look at offshore. So I'm going to go down here and filter by offshore, take off those attractors. So that's only going to show me my offshore stuff. And just like on Google Earth, right, it doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to this hamburger menu in the upper right and click contours. And once I do that, you're going to see that it brings up all of the contour lines for the lake. Now, this is the integration that we have with Garmin. Which is pretty cool. Now, I do want to note that I can't mark every single offshore spot. I'm sure there's some that I missed here, but I tried to mark the majority of the ones that looked really, really good. So let's take a look at some of these. We've got a lot of them out here, right? We go up here to the top. Some things that I really like about the top up here. One, I like this point that we see right here, right out there, right off the bend of the creek channel. It just looks really, really good. Definitely going to be a good spot. And then in fact, even if you come over here to the left side, notice the creek channel that's coming here, and it swings, kind of swings against the bank up there on the north side, and then down on the bottom, it really swings and hits that point. Right there where it hits that point in that area, those two spots are going to be great places to fish or to be able to find fish. Now, just kind of following the channel down, there's some other good stuffs down here, right? These two spots right here look really good. Definitely coming off of a channel bend. Got a nice kind of flat spot between them too that could be good. So some healthy looking stuff there. Of course, you can see all these other spots up here. This one up here to the north, right in here. This one looks pretty good as well. I didn't even give you the contour, or the not the contours, the coordinates for these. Here's a coordinate here for this one. And then for the one that we talked about earlier, these two, I'm going to start with the one on the right. That's the one on the right. And then this is the one on the left. All right, so those are just a couple for you to take a look at, but let's keep going because we got all kinds of juice. I love this lake, really, to me, sets up really, really well for offshore fishing. So you can see here on the right over here, really good ledge that's going on right there. You can see it. It goes from 5 feet to 9 feet to like 12 feet, all the way down to 27 feet. So it's a big, huge drop right there on the left. And then on the right, you've got those two really awesome points that are right there. And they actually have a little bit of a ledge there as well. So definitely take a look at both of those points, especially considering where they are in relationship to the creek channel. Now moving down, you can see we got some more offshore stuff over there to the left, just some points and things. One spot that you may want to try is right here on the back of this island. I didn't mark it for some reason. I kind of wish I would have, but I would try the back of this island and see if you can see anything there, because that could be good. Or even, I guess I wouldn't say the back, I'd actually say the front too. So try the front and the back. Both of them have really good looking contours all around them. So I'd definitely go look at that too. And let's keep going, see what else we see in here. We've got plenty of points and things you can see marked. Let's see if we see anything really juicy like this one. This looks really juicy to me. And you're like, why does that look juicy? Well, those long extended points that are like that just gradually come off, those are awesome places to find fish in the fall. So if you're watching this video in the fall, go check out that point and let me know if you found anything. Here's another good one out here, right? Some long extended stuff that's out here. This one actually has an islet, and then extended off the island goes way out, and then you get off of the edge of that hump and you find that break. So you could fish that shallow area too, see if they're up in the shallows. If not, come back and fish where that break is for sure. Also got some good stuff over here. My phone is going really slow today, so every time I zoom in, it's messing me up. But you can see here a nice little point going on in that area too. Let's go back and let's see if we got anything over here on the left side, so on the west side. So we're over here on the west side. Let's see what we got. We got some really good offshore stuff, right? We got some good points that are back here on the left. We get up in here. We got some really good looking stuff right up in here. I like this little area right here. It's kind of hidden, but these two spots, this one right here, let me zoom up a little bit, right here where it swings, this one, and this one over to the right, which is that hump. You can kind of see a hump, but it's like a shallow point that comes out, it goes to a hump, and then has a couple other humps around it. Well, somewhere in there, maybe not exactly where that offshore stuff is, because that's another creek coming down, touching on that side, but it could be on either side of that 17-foot hump. But I'm gonna go ahead and press that for you can see. And then if you look down here on south, there's an underwater point that comes way out, and it's right here, right in the middle of the lake. And then of course you got this little point that's hidden down here too, this nice little flat top at about 13 feet or so, and then a nice little break off the edge of it. That one could be good too. So there's all kinds of good offshore stuff on this lake. I mean, as we scroll through, you'll see there's another good hump right here. There's some really good points that are back here. There's a long extended point for you. That one looks really, really good. So you can see we've got a ton of them. And again, guys, as you go through these, if you find ones that you like and you're using the app, you can just come out here and say, you know what, favorite that for me, and then favorite that one for me, and maybe make a couple more favorites up here at the top. Like, let's go find a couple other cool ones. Like this right in here looks pretty juicy. I like that. You got a nice little, you got the river channel being pretty close. You've got a good point. You've got a lot of contour action going on there. So let's take a look at that one. And let's make it a favorite. And then let's go up and talk about those ones we looked at earlier, because they were juice. Like this one right here was juicy. All right, so we got all our favorites. So now all you got to do is come over here, take off your filter waypoints, and just turn on your favorites. And you'll only see the favorite ones marked. So then you can just go to the favorite ones that you want to be able to fish. So all kinds of cool stuff. Let's go back and take off the favorites. We'll put back on our offshore stuff so we can finish up this video, show you guys all the different offshore stuff that's over here on this right side too before we finish. But you can see some really good points, right? Look at this hump that's out here. Juice. Gotta fish that kind of stuff, right? And we've got all of this stuff marked for you. Again, it's available on the mobile app, but we also have it available on the SD card, so you can import this stuff into your fishing graphs. This one looks awesome down here. Let's take a look at that one. Coming off the edge of that little island, and then you've got that huge break that's right there too. So those are the types of things you're gonna look for. And guys, again, I couldn't mark every offshore spot on this lake because there is a ton, but hopefully you'll see that we marked plenty of them for you to go check out. And as you find the ones that you like, just favorite them, and you'll have a good little pattern to go for. So until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Make sure to go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com, and also make sure to go check out the mobile app, Simplistic Fishing, on the App Store or Google Play. Until next time, take it easy. it.